Welcome everyone to Dragon Quest FM, where we talk about and obsess over Dragon Quest. This week is our probably first episode on Dragon Quest II HD-2D
Yep.
Remake. We had fully planned on talking exclusively about DQ2, and then yesterday at the State of Play, we got a new look at DQ7 Reimagined and got to see that older Kiefer has officially been confirmed with his beard and his little gray hair and his kind of like more grizzled, voice and look,
Right.
which was really fantastic. Those of you who might have missed it, I felt like there was very little promotion for the State of Play. It was kind of just like the day before. It was like, State of Play is happening.
I had no idea until you texted me about that there was a DQ7 segment in it. I had no idea there was a state of play going on.
It was focused on Japanese and Asian studios and their
Right.
games. And it was all in Japanese, but with English subtitles. The trailers now
Oh.
were in English. Like the Dragon Quest trailer was for English,
Oh.
even though it would have aired in Japanese, there.
Right.
But like the actual broadcast and stuff with the MC was all in Japanese. And so I don't know if that's why interest was low, or if it's just the fact
Hmm.
that like it was kind of a meh presentation. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like they started with that though, and then it was all kind of like downhill from there for me personally.
Yeah, of
It was kind of
course.
like, holy crap, Kiefer. And then from there, I was just kind of like, okay, well, these are some games that are coming out.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I'm really excited about having adult Kiefer, but I'm also really hesitant on how it's going to affect, like we had talked about before, with the like emotional impact of just finding out about him in the game. He does look really cool. Old Kiefer doesn't look nearly as much like Lord Farquaad and Uncanny Valley to me as young Kiefer does. So I'm keeping my opinions on that one until I see it in gameplay all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like that was kind of always the style though with DQ7, where it's like the kids kind of had big heads, but the adults kind of grow into their heads.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what's on display here is it looks like the kids have grown into their heads. It looks like Kiefer's grown into his head. But anyway, if you haven't checked that out, anybody listening, by all means do. I am 90% certain, maybe even more than 90% certain, this is just that new scenario that was already confirmed that was like Kid Hero and Maribel.
Yeah.
Because it's like them as kids, seeing Kiefer. I think he'll probably be a part of just that one segment, that like one island or area of the island or however that pans out. And then you'll say farewell to him again, and maybe the ending's the same, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, I am on the fence about it a little bit because on one hand, I'm really excited by this, but on the other hand, I'm like, man, that would have made a really good surprise
Uh-huh.
for like to save. Like I feel like if I have one old man rant in me today, it is that like
One.
we've gotten to a point, I feel like in society where not just with video games, but like trailers for movies, shows in general,
Yep.
it's like they just go ahead and spoil everything before it's out. Like any of the big surprises, they're just like, nope, here it is.
Yeah,
To like try
exactly.
to try to create hype. And I get it. I mean, I guess like people's enthusiasm for things are just so fleeting because of how much is like
People are
thrown
so
at us.
fickle about it. Yeah, there's just so much stuff.
And like, so I get it, but at the same time, I'm just like, man, I feel like we have no surprises anymore. Like, if Dragon Quest XI came out today, they would probably have spoiled that Hendrik is a party member like
Uh-huh.
immediately, in one of the trailers. And it's just like, I don't know. There's just things like that now that
I get
I
irritated by it
am,
too, where
yeah.
it's just showing off so many things like that I would like to uncover on my own or experience on my own. Jennifer has started not watching trailers or reading anything about stuff she cares about after a certain point of the announcements. And like she doesn't play a lot of games and stuff, so it's mostly movies and television shows. But like she would be irritated at this one, I know, like because it's so early and they're already ruining a big part of it. Like if they had
Yeah.
done that with like the Superman movie, then she would have been like really angry because she makes it a point to not be spoiled by any of these absurd spoilers that come out sometimes with the twists of whatever movie it is. I get it. I get your old man rant this time. I'm right with you. Where I'm glad I know about it, but at the same time, that would have been awesome just to experience that part and see adult Kiefer come out.
Yeah, it's just weird too, because it's like this is the same company that's telling everybody, hey, don't talk about Dragon Quest II post game until the end of November, like a month after release.
Yeah,
Oh, but also this game that hasn't come out yet. Here's older Kiefer for you. And
yeah.
it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's weird how, and that's one of the things that I hate about current like games journalism and the way that different kind of companies are, where they put a limit on what you can talk about on at certain
Mhm.
times. I mean, I get
Yeah.
embargoes, don't get me wrong. Embargoes I totally understand, but being like, we sent you this copy with this content in it, but please don't talk about this section until after like 2 months after. And it's just like that for some reason that rubs me the wrong way. It's like you should be able to talk about that with people to build the hype to talk about what quality the game is at that point. So, but you can't even acknowledge it in reviews or content you create.
Yeah. So, um, anyway, I'm sure we'll be talking about DQ7 more before it actually
Sure.
comes out, but for Dragon Quest 2, I said back during the review episode, like this game, like DQ1 was like a 70 for me, and this one was like easily 90, 95, maybe even 100. Not really
Nice.
had like no real qualms about it. There were those backtracking issues, like I
Yeah.
mentioned, you know, during the review episode, where it's like, and some of that is really not Dragon Quest II's fault. It's just the fact that it's the last game in this trilogy, so you're going to the same towns and some of the same dungeons and caves
Yep.
and stuff that you've already been to two times. So there's that it's kind of against it. But then it's also like because it's attached to DQ1, it's like in a lot of way, a lot of these places you just ran through in
Just did it.
DQ1
Yeah.
and now you're back in DQ2. So
Where when it was created back in the day,
it's not as
there had
big of
been
a deal.
years between doing this, most likely. And so it wasn't nearly as it was fun to backtrack into those places where playing them actually one right after another would be like, well, this is awful.
Yeah, but then otherwise, like more specifically, like the backtracking that I got most annoyed with is just at different times, there's a lot that feels like just like padding. It feels like, okay,
Mm,
we're making this game longer. So now instead of going here and seeing a cut scene or whatever, it's like a specific example. There's a spot later on between the mermaids and fairies. I guess I should throw up, spoiler warning for some DQ2 stuff in this episode, but there's a part where, that underwater scenario is new to this
hmm.
version of it. And I think they kind of, I enjoyed it immensely,
Yeah,
but there were definitely some hiccups along the way. And like specifically, it's like there were a lot of times where it's like, go see the fairies. And you go to the fairies, you climb to the top of the tower, you talk to the lead fairy, and she
right.
would be like, blah, 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 blah. Go see the mermaids. And then you would go see the mermaids, and the mermaids would, they rhyme. And so the mermaids would be talking to you and telling you what you need to do. See how I
Hmm.
rhymed like them? And then they would just be like, go to the fairies. And then you go back to the fairies and be like, hey, the mermaids told me this. And they're like, okay, great, thank you. And then like even one of the times I think they even send you back to the mermaids again, and then you go through stuff. And so there's just there's several moments in the game that's like that where it's like yeah there's
Yeah.
zoom and everything but
That's
I'm just
actually what I
like
was about to ask. Can you zoom back to the mermaids because it's underwater?
but like one of my least favorite things to do in an RPG is when you have to even just fast travel to like a town to watch a 30-second cutscene
It
and then
is
go
annoying.
back to wherever you just were. And it's just kind of like, come on. Like, can we not just streamline this and like show the cutscene like I'm there and then just like
Yeah.
start back here? And some games do that. I'm always
Give me a
appreciative.
travel montage for goodness sake.
Yeah, it's like there's certain things like that that I'm just like that I was annoyed by in the game, but
Yeah.
overall, I mean, I had a blast with it. I got to the Princess of Cannock the first
Right.
time you get her, I was like, oh, she's really cool. I think arguably she's the best character in the game. I mean, it's just
Mm.
like she was created in 2025 or 2024, I don't know, whenever the development was going on. But she
Yeah.
was created when, characters have more personality than they did in a video game in the 80s.
Hmm.
And they do improve on the personalities of the three original
Okay.
main characters. Like they do a pretty good job of giving them personalities, but you still kind of can't help but feel like, okay, like the Princess of Cannock is definitely a product of like this time and this
Yeah.
side of game development, you know? And so it's really easy to just like her. And
Hmm.
so whenever she leaves your party though. So you find her, she goes with you to help the Prince of Cannock. And then once you actually have the Prince of Cannock, she's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, I think I'm done, and leaves. And I was like, oh man, that's
That's
so
all it was.
disappointing. Yeah, and I was like, man, they really like hyped this. Like she's on the cover now, and that was it. Like people are gonna be so furious about this. Thankfully, you get her again. I think I might
Yeah.
mention that in the review
Yep.
episode, but thankfully you get her again, which I was very relieved about. She joins your party. She has like a butt ton of luck
Yeah.
in that stat, and she's just like I don't know. She really adds to the overall party and like the characterization and everything. It's just really great. And I was initially worried like okay, it's gonna throw the dynamic off
Right.
because here we are like you know I'm already used to this three party dynamic. Some people
Hmm.
have been used to it for the last like 40 years,
Yeah.
and how is this new character gonna throw things off? And I didn't feel like she did at all. Like I didn't feel like she was stealing the spotlight from anybody. I didn't feel like she was, you know, really doing anything. If anything, I think it made me feel like okay, like why is the Prince of Cannock even in my party? And it's not he's much better. Okay, like
Right.
I think I mentioned like I had him in my party for 5 minutes and he died.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
then after that, like he was good. You know, you can teach him new moves with scrolls. You can equip a lot of stuff on him,
Yeah.
and he's a pretty good member of the party. But because he doesn't die, because he's not just a casket anymore,
Right.
he's incredibly annoying. And the game knows he's annoying and it plays into that, right? Like it does the thing where, you know, even in the original where it's like you had to go around to different towns looking for him and you'd
Uh-huh.
get there and then they'd be like, "Oh, you just missed him." I did not go back to verify this, but if memory serves me correct, you actually have to do that even more in the remake. Like
Oh no.
I think it's one extra time. You have to, yeah, because I was definitely like, man, I think I'm having to do this more. Um, could be wrong about that, but that's if memory serves, that's
Yeah.
true here. But then like lots of other times he's talking in cutscenes and stuff, and he just like he's meant to, but he comes across as just like this total derp. And
Right.
he you know, there's even the part where he doesn't get ennui anymore. He doesn't just, you know, get the vapors
Oh.
and needs to rest. He actually gets poisoned by monsters in the town. So they kind of give him a reason to be in bed.
I don't know. That takes away a lot of the personality on that though, giving him a reason to have to do it rather than just like, I got the vapors.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, there's lots of cutscenes where like he'll be talking and like he'll mention something and like
Hmm.
I may slip up and call them by their default names in this game. So you or anybody
Yeah.
listening, feel like you feel free to interrupt and ask me to clarify. But like Princess of Cannock, Matilda was her default name, and so Caradoc, the prince, um, you know, like a lot of times she's like, "Don't you have any tact? Like, shut up, bro!" Like all the time, and so like that is a funny part of the game.
Yeah.
But also, I'm like, you know what? I would be totally happy if I was just cruising through this game with like Moonbrook and the Princess of Cannock in
Hmm.
my party. Like the prince could just stay at home.
Never
Like
dealing with him.
he's just kind of this little, you know, naive little dork that I really don't need. But he gets to join you in this one.
And I was
And
about to say that, you could always just leave him dead, but that doesn't actually stop anything for cutscenes. That you just lose him in combat, but you still have to deal with all of the annoyances for party chat and
right,
cutscenes, so it doesn't matter on that.
right. And so it's like that change, I guess, it's kind of funny to see having played the original because it feels very much like okay, the devs are aware of what kind of reputation the
Right.
Prince of Cannock has had these last few decades, and they really lean into it and embrace it. But at the same time, there were quite a few instances in the game where I was just like, I don't know if this is meant to be endearing, but it's not. It
It's
wasn't to
not.
me.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. Like um I don't know. There's some like you can't you can't always skip specific lines of dialogue, you know. So
Hmm.
it's not like even you could skip it without skipping the whole cut scene or like fast
Right.
forwarding through it. And so I just sat there. And it's like he's fine, but but it is one of those things that now that like Matilda's in the game, where I'm just like, man, she is so much better. She's
Oh
so
yeah.
much better than the prince. Like. so much better. I'm like, we could just have her in it, and I think I would be fine.
Yeah, just have
Um,
her completely replace. I actually wondered if that was going to be the case. If
I did
when they
too.
announced that she was in the game, that she was somehow going to replace him or have the option to replace him, or Moonbrook, but had to maintain the three-person party. That because that's what you deal with in all the others. Does having a four-person party make this one easier than previously because you get the extra turn, where DQ1 got harder because you didn't have it?
I mean, Dragon Quest 2 in general, this game is easier
Hmm.
than the original. Like even the stretch where it's just like three of you, even when it's just like one or two of you, like it's
Yeah,
easier because of the auto save after battles and
right.
different things. There are some features you can turn off. Like you don't have to have things circled on your map.
Yeah,
Um you don't have to have it auto save. And there's stuff like that. But if you just leave all that stuff on there, it just makes the game naturally easier. And then because you have access to more equipment, because you have access to more spells and abilities,
right.
like that all just naturally makes it easier anyway. And
Yeah,
the balance in Dragon Quest 2 is really great. I mean, I it is it's challenging, as
yeah,
challenging as you really want. And this is in normal Dragon Quest mode, but it's like it's as challenging as you want it to be. It's as easy as you would really want it to be.
yeah,
I thought it had a really good balance. And even when there's like the fourth person in your party, it doesn't feel like, oh, this has gotten so much easier just because there's a
yeah,
fourth person. Like it feels like a very well designed game. And I didn't always get that vibe
right.
from Dragon Quest One, but like Dragon Quest Two, just it felt really smooth. Um, and I really I did I had a good time with it. I think probably honestly the most controversial thing I think I can say about it. Like I know, you know, different people have complained or not complained about the difficulty for one, but like the probably most controversial thing I can say about two is they introduce a new character. He's a
Okay.
little black sanguini named Elmu. Okay?
Okay.
Elmu. And he talks to you. Spoilers ahead. Elmu, he's a good monster, right? And he's
Okay.
gonna help you. And I love Dragon Quest monsters. Okay, I love
Yep.
cute little monsters. You know, Helix in the Heroes games. Like
Yep.
I would die for Helix. Elmu feels like I'm being pandered to, and I don't like it.
Really?
Like
How so?
I don't know. He's not in it too much. It's kind of just like, but it feels very much like, hey, look, cute little monster, cute little monster. And then, of course, like he dies. Okay, that's why I said spoilers.
Oh,
He dies when you're getting. That's before Renderak. When is I can't remember the exact story moment, but it's kind of later in the game.
yeah.
He dies, and like the characters are all sad, and I felt nothing.
You're like, good riddance, Elmu.
It's because I felt so. It's because I felt like the his addition was pandering,
Right.
and it also felt like emotional manipulation just on the like worst kind of level. And it really, like I felt nothing. I just watched it happen, and I was like, "Yep, of course he's gonna die." Like the characters are
Man.
all sad and crying, and there's sad music and stuff, and yeah, and that's why I said I think it's gonna be controversial because I know other people like cutesy monsters
Hmm.
too. People are gonna say I'm heartless, but no, I it felt like so much pandering. I just
Hmm.
didn't like it. And it like the first time you see him, the first time you encounter him and he runs away, I'm kind of like, okay, cool. You know, they're showing you that not all
Yeah.
monsters are bad. Like that's fine. It's kind of like running into a slime in the well, and he's like, I'm a good
Yeah,
slime,
I'm a good one.
and like I'm like whatever, fine. But then later he becomes part of the story. You meet
Okay.
him in a cell and he talks to you and he has like a cutesy little voice and he talks to you like this and he's like, I love you, I'm Elmu. And I'm just, and I think it was around then where I was like, like, I hate Dobby. Like, I can't stand Dobby in the Harry Potter books because I guess I am a heartless wretch. But anyway, like, but it was giving Dobby, and I'm just like, no, I'm like, oh, I
Mm.
don't need this in my life. Like, get out of here, Elmu. And I did the quest and all that, and then
Hmm.
he shows up and he starts to die, and I was like, oh gosh,
Of
like he's
course you
gonna
don't.
die. Okay, yep. So we'll bury him on the beach without using magic and get on with our lives. And um, but yeah, I don't know. Elmu, I could do without Elmu entirely.
Does he actually join your party, or is he just part of the like you know how some of the monsters come in as companions to cast spells on you every so often? Is he one of those cool monsters, or is he just there to pander and annoy you as a human being?
Specifically just me. Yeah. No, it's just that.
Is
He's
it?
there. And I think I could see why people might like him. I don't know. It just he feels so underdeveloped. Like it feels so
Mm,
unearned whenever he does die. It just feels so unearned that it's like, yep,
yeah.
there's a cutesy little monster. You're trying to make me feel sad about this. And I don't know. I didn't like any stuff with Elmu.
Yeah.
And like I could have done without all that. But otherwise, other than Elmu and the backtracking, really, like I like I mean, there weren't really parts that I hated. There were definitely parts that I
Yeah.
get frustrated by. Like you don't get the magic key. I think it's it's silver key in like the old versions, but like
Hmm.
the magic key, you don't get till later now, because it's a little more on the rails at times
Oh yeah.
with how you do things. So you get the now the magic key is hidden within the mermaid storyline. I guess because they're
Mm.
like, hey, it's a new scenario, so we're
Yep.
throwing in the magic key, and then you get like the ultimate key there at the very end, like
Yeah.
in Renderak and everything. So there's like all of that, and then you want to go back, and but I had a lot of fun with it. Like DQ
Right.
one, I was kind of like, okay,
Get through
I want
this.
to get through it, and then I want to go see what DQ two has to
Right.
offer. And with like DQ two, it's like once you get when you get to Renderak and you get the ultimate key, like I'm right there at the end of the game. But I was like, you know what? I think I want to go and open some of these chests because I
Right.
mean, you can start seeing chests with that need the ultimate key like almost from the get go.
Yeah, you
And
always do to keep you wanting to go back and see what's in it, to keep it just in the back of your mind that there's more stuff to explore and find.
And then I got distracted by getting all of Erdrick's armor and
Mm,
sword and everything. Like
yeah.
at that point, I'd already gotten the hints about the orichalcum and all that stuff needed for the
Yeah.
sword. And Dragon Lord's grandson gives you the rusty sword
Right.
uh to start with. And so I was like, I had that, and then I found I found his armor. I think it was the armor in the cave of Renderak. I found that, and I was like,
Right.
oh, I should probably really get the Erdrick stuff, because really neither game, especially two, really like encourages you to get the armor or the sword in any
Yeah.
kind of way.
Which is
Like
odd given the way these remakes are framed.
it
That
is weird. I thought it was weird too, especially because like I mean they give you the sword as part of the main story, but like the
yeah.
armor never really gets brought up in two at all.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of like I I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird. Like I didn't it didn't detract from my experience, but I was like, oh, this is weird.
Right.
But I did find it all. I found all the Erdrick stuff. And it's cool because then Mindenhall looks like the hero from one. You
Right.
have the helm.
Hmm.
If I'm
Where
nitpicking,
he's not
it
looking like a goober anymore.
man, I like his
Actually,
design.
the I will say, to interrupt you on this one, the HD-2D sprites don't bother me like the others have.
Hmm.
Like I actually don't mind the way that he looks with his weird little pilot's helmet and everything,
Yeah.
in the way that they did the sprites on this one. So I will give them that because I don't like the traditional sprites they use.
Oh
But this
man,
one looks okay.
yeah, I mean, I love the design. I do, if I'm being super nitpicky, it does bother me because it's like Erdrick and it's the hero from one instead of the
Yeah,
hero from three. And
right.
like throughout the story, they refer to the hero from one as Erdrick and his wife was
Mm,
Gwaelin and all this stuff, which I get. It's a title, and this is the
right.
game immediately following that. But still, it's a little weird to have Erdrick's shield and Erdrick's sword and Erdrick's helm and
Yeah.
all this stuff,
And it not be Erdrick's, it
but
be Hero
you
from
look
One.
yeah, and I get it. He got the title of Erdrick too. Whatever. Don't nobody write me angry letters. But um, I don't know. But it's cool walking around. But I liked. I love Minhall's design. I'm the opposite of you. I love Minhall's design. Where I was actually a little disappointed by it. I was like, oh, I wish I could look like
Uh,
because I put all of it on Minhall. Mark of Erdrick to the
yeah.
shield, everything was on him. And I was kind of like, oh, I wish he would kind of look like himself again because I really do like the original design.
You could have always put it on the Prince of Cannock. That way, you look like you were running around with two heroes in your party.
You can, so in I need to see. I need to experiment with this. Maybe next week I can confirm it. I think Canik can actually wear and hold all the stuff. Like
Okay.
like like
Yeah.
back in the other versions, like you had to you split the stuff. It was
Yeah.
like I think the princess got the mark of Erdrick, and
Oh. Yeah.
Maybe Canik got the helm. I can't really
But you
remember, but
couldn't
anyway,
deck one
you
party member completely out
you
with
you you,
it.
s- you split it between
Yeah.
the cousins, yeah, which made sense and was fair. But in this one, I know that like Moonbrook cannot wear all the heavy armor and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but I think Canik maybe can. I'll have to see, and I'm not sure. Matilda, the Princess of
Mm.
Canik, I'm not sure what all she can wear or not because I immediately just put it on my
Yeah, on
main
your
character
main
because he's
character.
me, he's
Yeah.
me, and so like he got all the good stuff, but. I I went through and did that stuff. I tried to like there's fairy memories and I went through with the fairy memories and stuff like that where like I legitimately went through and tried to do the extra stuff
Yeah.
as opposed to like DQ1 where I was like I forgot Zaylan the Bard. Like I forgot, oh yeah, that's like some weird side quest. I should probably keep looking for him
Right.
and like beat the game, without even going to the one town. And with this, it was like I was finding like there's probably half a dozen towns in Dragon Quest 2 that have no purpose.
Right.
Like
Yeah, I mean
you
open world
can
stuff tends to be like that, and two is very open. At least it was before.
like I think I ended up going back, but like I beat Dragon Quest 2 without ever going to like Remuldor
Mm.
or Galenholm. Like there's some big towns that like I just never even
Never.
went to because story didn't lead me there, and I never really had to go there or anything like that. And so, but I went around to all the different places. I mean, I just had a good time with it.
Right.
I do. Uh, I think we're good on time for me to talk about
Mhm.
this. I do want to talk about the Cave of Renderak,
Okay.
because it's such an important part of Dragon Quest II's DNA, and it's such a part of like Dragon Quest as a series. I feel like
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's like it used to be Cave of Roan, but Cave of
Uh-huh.
Renderak in the last like 20 years, and like it is the meanest dungeon
Yeah.
in probably any RPG I've ever played. Still, in Dragon
Even in
Quest
this
2,
version.
in this version, it's naturally easier just because of the quality of life stuff you can do.
Right.
But um they do try to split up the monotony of it a little bit
Yeah.
because there's like a mini boss fight and a boss fight at the end, and there's some cut scenes between the
Yeah.
cousins and stuff like that. But it is still a really mean dungeon. Like when I first got in there, I was like, oh, this here comes Renderak. Like
Uh-huh.
it's one of those things that like you go in there prepared, right? Like you take
Yeah,
a deep
you
breath
know
and you
what you're
go in
about to
there
get
with like,
into.
yeah, it's not you don't go into that cave after you've already been playing the game for like 3 hours and or might be a little sleepy or tired or hungry or anything. It's like you go in there fresh because
Uh-huh.
you're like you're gonna be in there a while. And so like I had my protein bars and my Gatorade. No, not really, but I did
I
like
wouldn't doubt it.
yeah, I was like, okay, Cave of Rindrack, this is what I'm doing today. And I think I did start elsewhere, and then
Yeah.
I've started going through the cave and everything. But did kind of have to kind of mentally prepare myself. And I did think for a minute, I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna streamline this a little bit. It's gonna be whatever. And then I get to the part where you're having to run up and down staircases. You can go left or right. You just keep repeating the same areas. Your map doesn't work anymore, and you're
Oh,
and I was like, nope, the Cave of Renderak is still really mean.
still terrible.
And I've been through the Cave of Renderak before, so there are things like you get to the section with the pitfalls. That
That's
was
what I was
another
about to
like
ask about. Do you still fall and have to redo so much with the frustrations?
you do, except I use my big boy brain. Okay, after falling in like 3 pits, I think,
Uh-huh.
and climbing out, I finally got this. I had this eureka moment where I was like, it auto saves after every
After every
battle.
battle.
So when I fell through, it's on PS5, so it's like instant. I would just go back to the title screen and load in my autosave and walk around, and then I would fall in another hole. I'd be like, dang it. And I'd go back to the autosave and do that. Because after falling in that hole like 3 or 4 times, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm so sick of.
Yeah,
I
of
mean, it's a
course.
big area too. And so I was just like so tired of it. And what finally got me is I got down there right to the ladder where I was supposed to go, where you're supposed to go. And I did not look up guides to see if the layout is the same
Right.
because I hate playing video games with like a phone in my lap or
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
a guide in my lap or whatever. Like I want to just play a game. And so I didn't try to do that. I was just trying to play it. And anyway, I fell in that hole right by the ladder and I was like, dang it. And then I was like, but wait, autosave. And so I kind of gamed the system a little bit
Yeah.
to keep from just constantly following in the holes.
But
Uh,
that's quality of life stuff that you've done that before. That you have spent your time, you have paid your dues to go in and fall through those holes so many times that you should not have to do it anymore. That you've played that game so much without that kind of quality of life thing that I think you're okay. I don't think that's even
it's
gaming the system.
yeah, it's I mean I think it is gaming the system, but like the caver render rack is still tough. I mean
Yeah,
it's still mean. Like it takes forever. And by the time you get out of there, you're kind of like, oh, thank goodness I'm out. So if
right.
you want the Erdrick armor, make sure you get it when you're in there because you are probably not going to
Not
want to
gonna
go
want to go
back and
back.
explore the cave again. So it was like that part I was kind of like by the time you get done with that, it's kind of like,
Yeah,
oh, like I think I need a little break now when
of
you
course.
finally get out of it. I mean, another point is like the game tracks how many enemies you kill, right? Not
Right.
groups of enemies, so not
Actual
individual like
specific
just
enemies.
the specific enemies. Like I think in you get a trophy on PS5 if you kill 1,500 monsters
Okay.
in Dragon Quest 2, which is really easily
That's really
doable.
not that bad.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe in Draki Quest mode, like if you're not dying at all,
Hmm.
like and you don't have to grind, you just barrel through. Like even then, unless you're just running from a lot of fights, like I don't see
Yeah.
how you wouldn't just naturally do that.
Just
But
because it's just so often that you get into these fights.
yeah, I started tracking how many monsters I killed because of how long Renderak was taking and like getting stuck in the maze
Hmm.
portion and then the pitfalls and all. And I checked it, and I don't know how many I'd fought before that, but whenever I got out of there, I had killed over 150 monsters
That's a
from
lot
me
for one
tracking it.
dungeon.
For me tracking it, yeah. And I didn't run from fights.
Yeah.
And I just, when it happened, and I fought him,
Yeah.
and then I would get on with it. And I don't know how many I fought before that, but when I started tracking it, because it just kind of dawned on me, I was like,
Yep.
man, I wonder how many monsters I'll actually kill in here.
That's
Um, so I know we're gonna run out of time before I finish talking about. So we'll definitely
so we'll
do,
definitely
and
be doing it again.
we'll do more on Dragon Quest 2, yeah, for sure next week. Um, and I'll try talking about some of the post game and stuff a little bit too, because there's quite a few other things I want to say about this
Uh-huh.
game, um, but just don't have time for
And I'm
today.
curious about one thing before we run out of time
Oh,
on
okay,
this one
yeah.
that and
I
I because of the way that you did this, you had an advanced copy and couldn't talk to me about anything that was going on as you were going through it like you could when you were normally playing. So I didn't get the text messages about you finding the box or the item under the sea like you did when you texted me every few minutes on wanting to quit playing DQ2 the very first time, where on mobile it just wasn't working and that you were so frustrated. Do you still have to do that in this? And is it as frustrating as it was when, because I was thinking about it, like whenever you got the key, I was hoping to hear from you, and I knew I wasn't going to because of the things, but I was like, I'm not going to get the text messages if he gets really frustrated at that part, if it's as bad as it was in the original.
So you can go for sunken treasure to get a
Yeah.
pearl earring later in the story with the mermaids, but it's like unless you have it turned off, I mean it's just a circle on your map and you go out there and you
Oh,
drop down. I think at that point it might be after you have to upgrade Lorelai's harp
yeah.
to go into the
Okay.
like deepest part of the
Yeah.
water. I can't remember, but yeah, I mean there's that. Um, but no, I didn't have any like but I mean, it's nice yellow circles, and
Yeah. I
I
mean,
left
that helps.
I left mine on. Um,
I do too.
I know it annoys some people, but like it doesn't bug me having the exclamation points on the map or having stuff circled,
Mm-mm.
especially if it's games like this that I've played before.
Yeah,
It's just kind of like I was like, I don't mind if you circle Tannagel Castle because I know I'm going to Tannagel, and but at the same time, it's like just because it's circled does not mean I'm going straight there because I'm like, hey,
right.
you know what? I remember this cave is over here. I'm gonna go do that first,
And I've
and
gotten so
then
used to those kind of things from MMOs like World of Warcraft, like they added that in and just to tell you where your quests are and where they overlap that I don't even think about it when it's in a single player RPG anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, this is just a feature of modern RPGs now.
to me, what I use it for most is like, oh, I haven't played this game in 3 days and I forgot where I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
going. Luckily, there's a yellow circle on my map.
Yep, I did that in DQ3 not long ago where I was like, I don't honestly remember where it was that I was heading. And then I remembered like I was going the wrong direction until I remembered like way I was far out of where I should have gone and was looking at it, be like, oh yeah, I forgot that there were circles on the map now. And really, I mean, I had to backtrack a lot when I was going through, but
Yeah.
uh,
So, it for those of you playing Dragon Quest II, definitely weigh in on this on Spotify or YouTube or uh, Twitter or Blue Sky. We're at Dragon Quest FM at both those places, and let us know what you think of the game so far. If you ran into any of the same issues I did, if you had different issues than I
mhm.
did, or if you disagree with anything I said. If you love Elmu, let me know.
We have to know about Elmu. I
Yeah.
have to know about Elmu.
I'm expecting other people to rush to his defense, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So um, if you want to check me out, I'm on those places at Dragon Quaston.
And I'm on there as BJK Games on Twitter, bjkgames.com on Blue Sky. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can always go to patreon.com/slash DragonQuestFM, give us a couple of bucks and listen to a massive, massive backlog of minisodes that we've done. I apologize on my part for being late, or I guess late is non-existent, but I've had a lot of stuff going on and forgot to do minisodes for the last few weeks. So that's my bad, but you can listen to a lot of them anyway, because there are tons. Patreon.com/DragonQuestFM. But
Thanks,
all right.
everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.